Throughout the centuries, countless champions have come and gone, from Leonidas of Rhodes in the 1st century AD to Mike Tyson in the early 1990s. Champions lead the pack in popularity and are remembered by their fans. However, the winds of time still blow. When an undisputed champion is crowned, everyone takes notice. However, time remains undefeated, as those who carry with them the remembrance of their name age and ultimately die. Even kings bow before time. Today we will talk about a man who has unfortunately become a footnote in history to most. A man who redefined what an athlete was, is, and should be. Relevant to us, he was also the first real champion in the great sport of bodybuilding. This man's name is John Grimek, the monarch of muscledom. John Grimek was born on June 17, 1910, to Slovak parents in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Like many other champions, Grimek was a fantastic athlete in his youth and excelled at numerous sports, including wrestling and American football. He first became interested in weight training as a way to enhance his athletic capability. He was naturally gifted in strength. Wherever he went to train, people took notice. Once his athletic endeavors had run their course in adolescence, he decided to move to York, Pennsylvania, to train with the legendary Bob Hoffman at the York Gym to advance his weightlifting potential. It was here where his strength numbers improved tremendously, and in 1936 he qualified for that year's Olympic Games in weightlifting. He was only 26 years old at the time. Grimek was thrust into stardom as a result, appearing in countless Hoffman magazines regularly for over 20 years afterwards. After the Olympics, he decided to test the waters in bodybuilding, where he won the coveted Mr. America contest back-to-back in 1940 and 1941 respectively. Due to a multitude of social and political reasons, a rule was put in place thereafter to prevent anyone from winning more than a single Mr. America contest, making John Grimek the only man to capture this title twice. This type of ruling was previously unheard of, and just goes to show how dominant Mr. Grimek was in his prime. Due to his success in bodybuilding, he was bestowed the prestigious nickname, the Monarch of Muscledom. Nobody deserved such a title more than him at the time. Following this, John Grimek continued to train at York Gym, and at the age of 38, and in debatably the best shape of his entire life, the legendary John Grimek defeated a young phenom named Steve Reeves to capture the NABBA Mr. Universe Championship in 1948. He was once again back on top of the mountain. The fact he defeated such a rising star was a huge testament to the shape, flow, size, and proportions Grimek possessed, even into his later years. A year after his Universe win, he once again defeated a stacked lineup at the AAU Mr. USA to capture that title as well. John Grimek is one of a select few of men to retire from competition completely undefeated. For lack of a better term, he was the king of kings in bodybuilding. Becoming a champion in a sport is one thing, but becoming an undefeated champion is another thing entirely. Few men have, or ever will, achieve such an accomplishment. With regard to weightlifting, and unlike many of his peers, Grimek chose not to use bench press in any large capacity throughout his athletic career, instead choosing to incorporate dumbbell decline presses to develop his pectorals to the level he deemed necessary to win. Along with bodybuilding and weightlifting, Grimek was also quite nimble, capable of doing acrobatics and gymnastics during his posing routines. As mentioned briefly, York Barbell pushed his success for well over 20 years. This was due in part to his impressive physical maintenance throughout his later life. Even at the age of 60 years old, Grimek was still capable of squatting well over 400 pounds for reps. While larger than life, mortality comes for all men, and on November 20th, 1998, John Grimek passed away in York, Pennsylvania at the age of 88. Although he is gone, his message lives on in those who he inspired. John Grimek is one of the most important figures to come out of the post-war era, and with regard to physical fitness and athletics, Without him, strength training may not have been taken as seriously as it is now. Here we remember a man who inspired millions in a bygone era, where rugged masculinity dominated competition. John Grimek deserves to be remembered as more than a footnote in the history of bodybuilding. In my opinion, no other man has exemplified the term American muscle more accurately than the monarch of muscledom, John Grimek. In life, John Grimek exemplified his famous quote like no other. It reads, "Always keep your focus on good health as the primary motivation for your toil, and build muscle the old-fashioned way. Earn it by hard work and dedication." I would like to thank you all so much for joining me on this lesson about one of the greatest athletes to ever live. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And until next time, this is Forgotten Fitness, signing out. Bye-bye.